Hello everyone, I am Sebastian, and today I'd like to share with you one of the projects I have been co-leading for the past 2 years. The goal of that project is to get people to understand every big news topic in just 12 minutes. You may remember this guy got elected at the end of 2016, and since then he's been describing the news and the media as fake, disgusting, and as the enemy of the people. And indeed, the debates and the issues of this world have been increasingly polarized, not just in the US, in Australia, in the UK, and in most other countries. You may also have seen this in the way extreme parties have risen in some cases to power in a few countries around the world. So we thought, is it possible to discuss these hot topics with rational arguments? So in September 2016, Dirk and I were in New York City for work. And on the weekend, we went to get us some lunch and we were exploring different project ideas and hobbies that we have on the side. Dirk was already an active podcaster, and I had in mind of creating something like a debating channel on YouTube, but I had never gotten around it. So we tried to merge these ideas together, and that's how we came up with 2debate.net, our current website where we host our podcast. The concept is 12 minutes of debating, Oxford style. This means alternating between each debater without interrupting each other, and we debate on major news topics only. This is Dirk. He's German. He likes beer. He still likes beer. Do you like beer, by the way? He's a serial father and podcaster, as I mentioned. He loves studying and learning new things, and he works at Google. This is me, Sebastian. I'm French. I don't like alcohol. I skateboard. I just started this year. And I try to operate drones when they decide not to crash, obviously. And I also work at Google. The first debate that we recorded in New York City in September 2016 was whether it was worth going to the planet Mars. And that was just following the news announcement by Elon Musk with his intention to colonize the planet. As part of the marketing strategy that we put in place to try and get the debate podcast promoted, we also created these memes, and hopefully they're funny, but if not, it's okay. It's because I'm French and I'm the one who created these memes. So we recorded that debate. Dirk set up a website, he prepared the podcast, and I prepared a teaser video. I also created that logo, and yes, it should read 2debate.net, and the two separates two faces which are intertwined. But then, as I put in the bottom left corner, I never claimed to be a marketing designer, so for now that's our logo. As I mentioned, every debate lasts 12 minutes, and that's it. Here is the structure. 2 minutes each at the beginning for introduction and initial arguments. Then we have 3 minutes each to have the opportunity to counter the arguments of the other side and possibly provide additional arguments. And finally, we have 1 minute each to conclude. Now, each episode is slightly longer. The debate itself is 12 minutes, but then we have a short presentation of the motion at the beginning and some conclusion and further remarks at the very end. So in total, each episode is roughly 21 minutes. Now, you may wonder, how do we decide who will be for or against the motion and who will start each debate? Well, we take a coin, either virtual or real, and we flip it and to decide randomly who will be for or against each motion. And that's great because it forces us to have new perspectives. We are very often defending a side that maybe by default we would not have defended. So we try to do three things. Number one, we try to defend each side as strongly as we can, truly believing in the arguments that we present. The second thing is, as much as possible, we try to avoid logical fallacies and bias, and we try to keep the debate fun and respectful. And finally, we try to focus exclusively on current topics and keeping the debate within these 12 minutes. So this is what really happened. Because we were defending our arguments so strongly, we were often left confused as to what our initial opinions or final opinions were. Secondly, We recorded most of the episodes at distance over video conference. Now I'm joking here, we did never try to kill each other, we actually had a lot of fun here. And finally, we managed to stay on focus, and we set up a timer so that we had this hard limit of 12 minutes for each debate. In the end, we cover mainly these three areas: tech, politics, and business, which are the recurring themes that you can see in the media. Here's a selection of some of the debates that we published over the past 2 years. And you'll probably recognize here a number of topics that have been in the news lately or over the past 2 years, whether Judge Kavanaugh's nomination to the Supreme Court, Bitcoin through blockchain here, Elon Musk's projects with underground tunnels, and the role of the US in the world, for instance. On the next few slides, I'll show you a series of memes that we have created for various topics on whether Star Wars is overrated, whether Twitter should ban Trump, about Brexit, about diplomatic protocols, and finally about the independence of Catalonia. Here are a few statistics for you. We published so far just about 60 debates. We've had about 20,000 downloads, which is not insignificant, but not that huge either in the podcasting world. We release an episode roughly every 10 days. Lately, we have released an episode every Thursday, so every week. You can find our podcast on iTunes, and yes, it's free in case it wasn't obvious. Sometimes we do record special episodes. One of them was the result of a suggestion by some students from University College London. They proposed the following motion: should genetic engineering be accessible to the public? So we had a very interesting conversation with them for more than an hour, and Dirk and I also recorded a debate on that very topic. So that special episode starts off with the debate, and then you have 1 hour of discussion with the students who are experts of that field. Here are some of the comments that some of our listeners have written. And indeed, we do try to dismiss any preconceived notions. We do try to do enough research so that our listeners can learn something and could say, oh, I did not realize that indeed there could be these arguments in favor or against that motion. I may need to rethink the way I think on that specific topic. Behind the scenes, it is actually Dirk who diligently records and edits every single episode with professional hardware and software. And this is a picture from his home office. One of the consistent pieces of positive feedback that we did hear from listeners is how they appreciate that natural bond that exists between Dirk and myself. And indeed, we do laugh quite a bit during each recording. And sometimes having fun can be questionable, because in this case, I was recording one of the episodes in an alleyway in between 2 series of hotel rooms, and that was in Thailand, bitten by mosquitoes, because that was the only area where I could get some Wi-Fi signal. This is another teaser video recorded using some footage from some of our debate recordings. If you're interested or curious or want to help us, here's what you can do. You can give us feedback. What do you like? What do you like less? How could we improve? Subscribe to the podcast. Suggest new debating topics that are maybe dear to you and that you'd like us to debate on. spread the word around you if you really like what we do, and you can also leave a rating on iTunes. So thank you very much for listening to me, and I look forward to having you as one of our listeners. Thank you.